Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
It's Waffle Box time.
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
No, it's not. It
Gets the people going.
You know what old Jack Burton always says at a time like this?
My crotch is itchy.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. Now don't call me Shirley.
What would you do if you had $1 million?
2 chicks at the same time, man.
Just thank the Lord she didn't live to see her son as a mermaid.
You killed a hooker!
Call girls!
No,
she was
Cyril, when they're dead, they're just hookers.
This time we are sure she's a woman, right?
Why do you want to listen to the TV with the stereo on?
Because I like to party.
Let's do this!
Ooh, welcome to Waffle Box, the podcast where we talk about anything, everything, and nothing all at the same time. Coming up on episode 17, we have a tennis player who's achieved more in her 18 years than I have in twice her lifetime. Thanks. We also have a Spanish bishop that decided to switch teams. We also have cryptocurrency bringing down a nation. And then, of course, Kush's movie review. I am Mike Fish, and I am joined by that man, Mr. Order. The
Kush Hayes.
The
What's
honorable
good, y'all?
Kush Hayes. How you doing, my man?
You gave me the super duper extra pause, but you know what, my man? It's my favorite day of the week. Waffle Box Podcast. It's the best part of Wednesdays, folks. You got to tell your friends to be a part of this journey with me and the man, Mr. Mike Fish.
It's the best way to celebrate being halfway to the weekend. That's all I say. So what have you been up to? How was your weekend?
Weekend was good, dude. It was very mellow. We just hung out. Saw a couple movies. I know at the end of last week's episode, I said I'm going to review a movie with Oscar Isaac and Tiffany Haddish called The Card Counter. FY, fantastic film, but we switched things up, man, and we're going to be talking about Malignant, which is just bonkers insane. I'll talk more about that later. But I just, before we started, got the chance to see the pilot episode of Heels on the Starz network. I don't know if you've seen that or heard about it.
Isn't that the one starring Stephen
Amell from CW's Arrow? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I believe also CM Punk, who we were speaking about last week, he's a character in that, right?
He is. If he is, he has not shown up in the pilot.
Okay. I know he worked back a lot with Stephen in like preparing him for the role and things like that. But yeah, I believe he appears as
super duper pro wrestling fan. So this was it was on my radar. I checked it out. I'm impressed with the first episode. You know, it's not the only story in pro wrestling, but it is a story in pro wrestling, and they hit a lot of the nails right on the head. I'm looking forward to checking out episode 2 after we're done with our recording, to be honest.
Well, isn't that one of those Stars, another one of those networks where you have to pay a monthly fee to see it?
Yeah, it's a traditionally a cable channel, but yeah, they got an app too. Everyone's got an app, but there it is.
How much is it?
Probably $8, $9. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't go out of my way to get Stars for this thing. But if you got it, check it out. I'm sure it'll be on Netflix before we know it. Stars seems to go like, yes, I like cashing checks from Netflix as well. We like having our direct consumers, but then we like also taking money from other people as well. Thank you, Netflix.
Or just Google Stars free trial. I'm sure
it'll be on iTunes and all that shit too. Yeah.
But yeah, maybe I'll check it out. What did I do? What did I do this weekend?
What'd you do, Mike Fish?
I just sat on a beach.
Hey, that's nice.
Yeah, I drove down to the Jersey Shore.
All right.
Saturday afternoon, sat on the beach all day, and then went out for some drinks, and then fell asleep, and then woke up and went back to the beach again. It's quite nice. That's literally all I did.
And you didn't burn? That's great, man.
No, I probably maybe a little bit on my forehead, maybe because
I think that might be a shadow. But yeah, hey man, you didn't burn. You're all right.
Yeah.
If you got a base tan, that's okay.
It's dangerous now. I'm going a little bit thin on top.
Mm-hmm.
Have to be more careful.
Yeah, it's all going away anyways. Don't worry.
Because that's the scary part is when you start putting the lotion on your head, and you just have to keep. Each time you go to the beach, you realize you're going further and further back, and you're oh my god, where's my hair gone? It's part of life.
You get used to it.
Getting old. Speaking of looking back and our ages, let's go back, shall we, down memory lane. Kush, what was you doing when you was 18 years old?
I was still a senior in high school. Yeah.
That it? That's the story.
I had a part-time job. I smoked a lot of dope. I tried to hook up with girls. I went to independent study the first semester and took 9 courses that I needed to just get done. And then my second semester, I went back to my original high school, and I only had 3 courses the entire day, 2 of which I literally phoned in, and that was it, man. 18 was a pretty good year.
So you literally phoned it in.
Yeah, I would sleep in. I would then call the high school and say, please connect me to the art department. And then the teacher would pick up and he'd be like, hello. And I'd be like, hey man, Steve-O here. And they'd be like, oh, okay. Are you coming in today? I was like, I'm already here, man. Don't worry about it. And I'll catch up with you later. You went, okay, I'll put you down. And that was it, man. I would show up maybe once a week, once a month, show them some sketches from like 4 months ago. And he'd be like, this is very good. I'd already taken the class freshman year, man. I'm literally you have to take X number of credits to graduate. And I'm just trying to like ride out everything else, you know?
So you literally coined the phrase phoning in.
No, but I definitely got to be in a position where I definitely exercised it.
Oh, good for you. Well, do you know what I wasn't doing at age 18?
What were you doing at age 18?
No, guess what I wasn't doing at age 18? I did nothing. I wasn't even smoking weed. I was just being boring. I think I was a full-time work. I
bet you weren't
dropped out of education.
Jacks.
I was dropped out of education. I was already full-time employed, earning money, buying stuff that I didn't need.
Mm-hmm.
But what I wasn't doing is winning a Grand Slam tennis, which is what we're talking about first. Because I'd heard through because I must admit I'm not a big tennis guy. I don't really pay that much attention to the old tennis world.
I thought this was a particular interesting subject. I was like, I didn't know Mike was into tennis. All right, let's hear more about this.
No,
You're now tuning into Tennis Talk with Mike and Kush, already on the Waffle Box.
Change ends. Is that what I do? Change sides. New balls, please.
I was doing an NPR thing, or at least I thought I was. But anyways. It's just this nice docile tone that's telling you what you're listening to right now. And you're currently listening to Tennis Talk with Mike and Kush on Waffle Box.
It's now 11 p.m. Welcome to Late Night Tennis Talk.
That's the quiet storm. But anyway, Tennis Talk.
Tennis Talk. Yeah, so the young lady. So this is okay. This is a great story on many levels. Because one, it's an inspirational story because an 18-year-old won a major Grand Slam in tennis or in any sport. That's pretty damn impressive. But it's also a great metaphor for the world in there. Hey, man, we all need to stir the pot and get to know each other and mix it up because it's all going to be better for the world in the future. Because Emma Raducanu, who is born from she's 18 years old, born from a Romanian father, a Chinese mother, born in Canada, grew up in Great Britain, and she now represents Great Britain in tennis, and she's crushing it. Literally, so this is, I just thought at first, 18-year-old winning Grand Slam, that's pretty awesome, until I find out the stats in that literally she's just started playing tennis like professionally, like 4 months ago, 3 months, 2 months ago,
3 months ago,
June. And she usually she had to go through all the qualifiers because obviously she wasn't seeded, so she had to qualify for the US Open. And as far as I'm aware, I'm pretty sure I saw it. She is like the first person ever to win at least the US Open by qualifying. It's normally one of the big guns that win it, but she just crushed it. I mean, listen to the stat. So she is the first British female winner at the US Open since Virginia Wade in 1968. She is the first qualifier in the Open era to win. Okay, so it's not even just the US Open, Wimbledon, the Australian Open, the other Opens that I don't know. I'm sure there's several. but she's the first ever qualifier to win one of these. She's the youngest women's Grand Slam champion since Maria Sharapova. 2004. The youngest British person to win a Grand Slam title. The first woman to win the US Open without dropping a single set. I don't know much about tennis, but even I know that's goddamn impressive. Since Serena Williams in 2014. Like,
speaking of Serena Williams, they have a movie coming out about her father, King Richard's going to star Will Smith. He's swinging hard for that little gold trophy in February, and he might get it with this one. However, the whole thing is about how hard he was on Venus and Serena Williams, like just from birth. Like he's like, I had a 70-page outline about how their lives would be, and I've just been pushing them to be tennis players this entire time. And then this young lady, Raducanu, does it in 3 months. Does everything in 3 months. Like
King Williams, what a waste of time.
Yeah, it's just I want the movie. I want her movie to be. She watched the Will Smith film. She's all just like deep into it, and then she gets up and she goes to her first tennis match and she wins that one, and then we get a montage, and then she goes to the Grand Slam final here at the U.S. Open. She kills that, and then she's like, "See how easy that was?
Yeah, why are you working so hard? This is easy." But so this is how. So I was reading the article on the BBC website, the British Broadcasting Corporation, which is funny, quite funny. So 2 weeks ago, so the final was only on Saturday night, I believe. So 2 weeks ago, Raducanu had a flight booked back to the UK just in case she did not come through the qualifiers. So she was
completely realistic,
hedging her bets. 17 days later, she wins the trophy. And then
17 days, by the way. This tournament took 17 fucking days.
It's long.
That's insane. Okay, like the playoffs don't take that long. Okay, in any sport.
Oh, don't they? I'm pretty sure they do.
All right, I mean, well, quiet you.
Basketball was that best of 7 nonsense.
Yeah, but you can't have a point here. This is tennis talk with Kush and Mike. See, now I have to overstep you. All right,
we just edit that out. So then this is someone who 2 months ago was collecting her A-level results, which for those that don't speak English and only speak American, so that's basically she was graduating college in the UK 2 months ago, and yes, so she'd only made her WTA, which I'm going to assume is the Women's Tennis Association, or maybe not, maybe it's the World Tennis. I don't know. Answers in the comments. Main draw debut in June. So yeah, she only started professionally in June.
That's amazing.
But it was quite funny. It's like at the end of the article, it was like, but Raducanu always believed. Did she? She booked her flight home.
Well, I understand. Like she even sustained an injury during her finals or whatever against Canada's own Leylah Fernandez, who, by the way, Leylah Fernandez has got to be hanging pretty low. Like, again,
well, she's only 17, I think.
She's 19, and she's probably been doing this for at least a decade. Where again, this chick just picked it up back in June and just went, "See how easy this is? Look, I just hit the ball."
Am I holding this at the right end? Am I
doing this? A cute skirt. I look good in it. All right, I hit the ball.
So you hit it to me and I hit it back. Okay, we could do that.
Oh, see, I'll do it again.
I won.
Oh,
awesome! I enjoy this. And then
you didn't hit the ball.
Does that mean you lose? Does that mean you lose?
That's my Raducanu impersonation.
So yeah, so she picked up £1.8 million, which
probably about $2 million.
$2.5 million. That's not bad for an 18-year-old for 17 days work. I'll take that.
Great. I read that she is now obviously number 1 in the UK in the British circuit, but number 23 worldwide.
But I was reading it, but they update it afterwards. So I think it's like something on Monday. On Monday, so I guess 2 days ago, she became British number 1,
and then number 23 worldwide. But was she even ranked worldwide going into this, or
she was not? That's why she had to qualify.
Wow.
So she makes her debut in the charts at number 23.
I just hit the ball.
So easy.
I like my shoes.
So Moral of the story is if you want to create a tennis star as your child so you can live vicariously through them and earn money through them, don't do all this like 75 page dossier thing and whipping your children. Play tennis. Just hook up with
style
a
work
Romanian or a Chinese player.
This chick just happened to have a natural talent, and just it's definitely a big congratulations. And we're going to see what happens going forward. Winning this thing this early might actually be the worst thing for her career long term.
Oh yeah, because next tournament,
what do you do?
All eyes going to be on her.
How do you defend this? How do you sustain?
It's going to be that. What's that? The other female tennis player that's doing really well when she was young.
The Williams sisters?
No. Oh my god. There was like a documentary about her.
Oh, nice. Good for her.
I think she's half African, half Asian. I can't remember her name. But yeah, so that was the same thing.
Can you say that? I don't know if we can say that. Can you? No, wait, hold on. Okay, we're getting where you can't say that. Don't.
She was half something and half something else. And she was pretty good. But again, mix it up.
Mix it up. Go.
Stir up the pot, and you'll be good to go. You'll be a winner.
Mm-hmm.
Next. But yeah, so congratulations, Emma Raducanu. I salute you as a fellow British person who was born in Canada.
You have made your queen proud. Emma Raducanu.
She sent her a letter. She sent her a letter.
Only a letter?
Yeah.
We're not going to have
I don't think the queen's up on the... Maybe the queen didn't have a number, so she couldn't text her.
Yo, queen...
Wouldn't that be hilarious just getting a text message from the queen? It's like, just GG.
Just do it. Maggie, call her.
Game. Good game. Yes, so next topic is...
This has been Tennis Talk with Mike and Kush. Thank you for listening on the Waffle Box Pod.
Now we're going to change subjects into some satanic erotica.
Yeah, I need more. I need a choir behind producer Jerry. Can we get a choir behind me in this one?
The audio listeners are going to be very impressed with what I put in there. But
if
you're watching on the video, sorry, I was going to be bothered to edit the video that well. So Spanish bishop quits his job. Oh my god. Normally I wouldn't give a monkeys. But this Spanish bishop, Xavier Novell, resigned last month. The Roman Catholic Church cited strictly personal reasons without going into detail.
That's fair.
That's fair. So
these are personal.
Yeah. So a little bit of backstory about this guy. I think he's 52 now.
Mm-hmm.
But he joined age 41 in 2010, became Spain's youngest bishop.
Well, I think he's been around longer than that, but he was the youngest bishop at 41.
Right. So again, if you haven't heard this story, let me
you don't just jump into bishop is definitely not an entry-level position in the Catholic Church.
So backstory before we get to the punchline of this. So he's been there now for 11 years. He quits for personal reasons. Now, he backed so-called conversion therapy for gay people.
Yep. The pray the gay away.
Pray the gay away.
Out here.
So you might be thinking, what was that? Is that came up against him? No.
It's pretty controversial stuff.
He carried out exorcisms. Interesting.
I mean, definitely a fantastic conversation starter at parties.
That's a scam. That's a racket. That is. Yeah, I'm just gonna come in. Yeah. Ooh.
Some people believe in this shit, man. I mean, from what I understand, the Catholic Church goes to great means to like, no, we don't want to do this. We don't believe you, but two, we don't want to do this. To get an exorcism, some seriously crazy shit has to be happening, whether it's real or not.
Some green vomit coming out.
Maybe it happens.
Some naughty stuff with the crucifix. I've seen the movie.
It's weird.
Documentary. /TV.
It's not natural.
Children have to get sucked into the TV.
Well, the problem is people do die from those exorcisms. So it's yeah.
It's an easy way to say you got rid of the demon. Anyway. So this guy who wanted to cure gay people and carry out exorcism, he was seen as a rising star in the Spain's Catholic Church. He's a go-getter. Look at this young whippersnapper.
Carrying the ball, man. He's
Keep
moving
an eye
our
on
agenda
him.
forward.
He'll be big one day. So his decision to resign with Vatican's approval came as a surprise last month. He even met with the Pope himself to talk about this decision. Now you might be wondering, well, what did he do? What did he do? What is he doing now? So he is now looking. Okay, so he's not actually doing this. So he's looking for a job in the Barcelona area as an agronomist.
Well, what does that do?
So I looked that up. It's an expert in the science of soil management and crop production.
Okay, as a farmer.
Rock and roll, baby.
As a fucking farmer. That's great.
So what did he do? So I've skipped something here, haven't I? Where's now?
I mean, he's got a very controversial history within the Catholic Church. That's definitely where you're going with things, but it gets crazier.
Yeah. So he has fallen in love. Oh, it's a love story. It's a love story.
Maybe the greatest sin.
With a young, no, not say young. She's divorcee as well. Oh my God, this guy to stop sinning. Sylvia Caballol, a psychologist and a erotic novelist. Ooh,
she sounds like a swinging chick.
So some of her books include titles such as The Hell of Gabriel's Lust and the Amnesia Trilogy. In the blurb of one of her books, the reader is promised a journey into sadism, madness, and lust, and a struggle between good and evil, God and Satan, with a plot to shake one's values and religious beliefs. So why wouldn't this guy fall in love with her? They obviously
sounds like some wild shit.
Mesh so well.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, yeah. So he.
Now she's a psychologist or a therapist?
It says psychologist in this.
Psychologist. Okay, so she's
once
got
again
medical,
from the BBC.
Dig it. She's got medical training. Dig it.
But so this whole thing. So the church is still saying it's nothing to do with us. If he wants to talk about it, it's up to him. We're not.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's not kind of dead to them now. But the issue apparently has raised again the issue of celibacy within the church. In earlier interviews, Xavier admitted that in his youth he had fallen in love with an 18-year-old girl. Hopefully he was around 18 as well, so it's not something weird. And he later wants to marry and have children before deciding on a different path, assuming that different path would be the church. His change of heart has prompted grumblings within the church. Dominican nun Lucia Caram said that he was out of his mind and criticized his promotion of conversion therapy. So Lucia, I'm not sure where she stands here really, because she's saying he's out of his mind for leaving the church, but she criticized his promotion of conversion therapy. So she wasn't necessarily like
she's not down with the pray the gay away,
or is she? She's just kind of like, well, just keep that between us. We'll just.
Well, I mean, she's trying to
promote it. Promote we're doing it.
Here's what I think, man. I think this is a case of people changing their mind, man. It's just straight up forward, and it took the love of another woman to show him that, like, hey, maybe everything going on in this organization I'm a part of isn't good. Like, maybe he absolutely believed in that once upon a time, the pray the gay away stuff. Maybe he doesn't anymore, or maybe he's seen it yields zero results. Maybe he didn't believe in it the entire time, and that's just what the powers that be told him to push. It's one agenda overall. You'd like to think these are his exclusive words. They may not be. They may like, hey, you're going to be the bishop. You're going to say what we're going to tell you to say. That happens. So I hope this is the best case scenario of just love wins, and he met this foxy chick who's got some wild ideas. Like, she's just writing books, and she's a psychologist. Like, I don't know. It's
Or maybe.
But yeah, people are allowed to change their mind and just take a different path. He already took one different path. Like, he was going to marry an entirely different chick when he was younger, and just went something. Well, it would be nice to know what changed his mind from that. That's, again, going into the Coventry, deciding to become a priest. Like, that's a dramatic life-changing event.
Indeed.
Something happened.
Well, maybe. This is my theory. You know me, I always like to have a theory.
I like a good fish theory. Story.
I think there was some pranking going on, and just for a laugh, one of the other bishops like snuck into his room and like cut out the innards of slipped in a copy of the Hell of Gabriel's Lust inside the Bible. And so one night he went back, started reading it. Went, wait a minute, this isn't right. But I'll tell you what, this is much better than the Bible. This is much juicier.
I mean, I've read Genesis 1,000 times already.
Yeah,
this is new.
And then he looked it up. Who wrote such a thing? He did some cyber stalking. Took him a while because I'm sure bishops aren't too hot on the old Tinternet. And they got it down and did the whole argument again. Hey, what's her name? Hey, Sylvia.
Hey,
how you doing? My name's Xavier. I'm a bishop at the Catholic Church. Call me Miss Dr. X. Mr.
Bishop X.
Bishop X. That's my new rap name. So I see you've been writing these books. For your next book, would you like an interview? And then she's like, yeah. And then they met, and then one thing led to another. Mm-hmm. Sylvia and Bishop X. Looking it up. His mixtape is going to be fire. I tell you that.
Probably. I'll tell you what. So the story of this whole thing is going to make a fantastic PBS movie of the week. And then
really,
because this is now a thing, like, I guarantee you she's going to have a movie option based on one of her 3 books.
I don't know.
It might be international, but it's going to happen.
Oh yeah, maybe in like 5 years' time on Netflix there'll be.
I can see Italy doing this. I can totally see Spain.
Yeah, there'll be like a Spanish or Italian movie on Netflix where it'll be subtitled and dubbed terribly. Ooh,
I'll be there.
The Hell of Gabriel's Lust, the movie.
Gabriel's Lust, the movie,
starring this guy from something you watched 10 years ago
and
hasn't
Hemsworth.
done anything since. Oh, do you
and
know
Jamie Spears?
Chris Hemsworth, that's the guy who does Thor, right?
Mm-hmm. And his brother's name is Liam.
Yeah,
nice
even though Liam's doing his thing, I would love just to once see in a trailer where it's starring Chris Hemsworth's brother.
Oh, I mean,
be funny.
His career would have to take a dramatic change for the worst for that to happen. There's trailers like that out there. So once upon a time, there's this company called Full Moon Entertainment. They're part of Paramount Pictures. They're responsible for the Puppet Master films, Demonic Dolls, lots of very B and C straight to VHS content. Okay, entertaining, but very very little bit. It's the Asylum before the Asylum, Blumhouse without the 7 figures, and they had like they still have a huge catalog. Anyway, where I'm going with this is once upon a time they came out with a sci-fi film starring Stallone, Estevez, Swayze, and one more name that you recognize. And guess what? It was actually Jackie Stallone, Sylvester's mother. It might have even been his brother. I forget that gentleman's name as of this moment. But then it was, Sal Pacino, Al Pacino's dad. And then it was Joe Estevez as opposed to Emilio. And then it was Patrick Swayze's brother, whose name I'm blanking on right now. But Steve Swayze, sure.
I don't know, make it up. Steve Swayze sounds like a cool name.
Steve Swayze.
Yeah, I'm Steve Swayze.
So, but that's, I would not be surprised if they. Anyway, Liam Hemsworth would have to have a dramatic negative career for that to happen, or at least be a part of that. Is where I went with that.
Dash my dreams. But
this has been Dream Killers with Kush Hayes on the Waffle Box Pod.
Next story we have. Oh, by the way, an update on last week's story about Michael Jordan's used underwear. I checked on the website. Current bid is still $1,200, so it hasn't gone up in a week. So probably I think that's where it's going to end. But to follow up on my theory about what happened there, I didn't actually notice, but on the photos that they've uploaded for the listing, one of the photos 100% has one of those, the paper tags that they put in there when you do for your dry cleaning.
Sure.
That's in the underwear. So he definitely stole his laundry. 100%. 100. That is definitely it. Michael Jordan had his underwear stolen and put up for auction. I don't believe the story.
Creepy.
Very creepy. Like, they could at least taken the tag out if you're going to put it up on auction, but whatever.
That is creepy.
If you didn't miss that, check out last week's episode of Waffle Box for more in depth about Michael Jordan's used panties.
Waffle Box Sweet 16.
Next week we'll be able to drive and drink in the UK, which is nice. We'll be 18.
Fun. We're going to be able to vote here. We might even have a new governor in California next week.
Wow, that'd be exciting. Who's running?
Gavin Newsom, the current governor, is possibly being recalled for such a shitty job that he has been doing. But if he gets recalled, then it will go to a Republican candidate, and that is they're estimating a gentleman named Larry Elder will be the winner of that. But anything can happen. The results are still coming in as we speak right now. The election was last night.
Oh,
Tuesday last night.
Tuesday last night. Oh, yeah.
So,
keep us updated.
We don't get political here. I don't like Gavin Newsom, but I also think this recall is stupid. It's a waste of time and money. And sometimes you just have to learn to deal with the cards you're given, kids. You can just vote him out of here in 2 years. That's how that works. That's how that works. But whatever.
Stop starting fires in the forests.
See, Mike gets it.
Yeah. Just stop doing that and you'll be fine. You'll get voted back in. Speaking of issues within government, not that we're going to get political, go and vote. Once you're in line, they can't kick you out. But anyway.
Well, I heard a religious story. Might as well sprinkle some politics in there. So, but that's the beauty of Waffle Box. We talk about everything and nothing
at the same time. So El Salvador, we're going to go traveling now over to El Salvador, where they took a very, I don't want to say controversial, maybe it's controversial to some, but very interesting decision to make
plan
Bitcoin as an official, I wouldn't say it's their official currency, but it's legal tender.
Yes.
In their country.
Not a good idea. Not
a good idea. It's a little bit volatile still, because basically people like me, and there's a lot of people like me, even though I'd like to think I'm unique. A lot of people still have no fucking idea what Bitcoin is. And if that is now legal tender in your country, you're fucked. That summarized that story.
But they had huge problems from what I read in that link, to where so not only did the value of Bitcoin itself globally dip, but servers were crashing because people had to register for a new digital wallet.
Yeah, you have to have a wallet on your phone.
Yeah. That's an entire country. An entire country tried to log onto the internet so they could get paid on Tuesday.
What could go wrong? Getting an entire nation to download an app and register. This server will be fine.
Yeah. I don't think that would have gone well in the United States, and it definitely should not have. I mean, that should have been predicted to go bad in El Salvador. Sorry.
Well, so what happened as soon as they made it legal tender, the price of Bitcoin crashed to its lowest amount in almost a month, falling from $52,000 to just under $43,000. Again, I have no idea what that means.
It's a $9,000 dip, which is a lot, but it will climb again.
But what it says is that the fall caused one of Latin America's poorest countries, El Salvador, to lose $3 million in a day. Now, I did a little bit of research. The GDP annually of El Salvador is around $27 million. So to lose $3 million in a day, it's not a good look. Not a good look.
Bad day. Bad day at the office, kids. Bad day at the office. Daddy's going to drink a little. Daddy's going to get a little wild tonight.
The problems, one of the main is that a lot of places weren't even taking them. Eventually, Starbucks and McDonald's did start accepting Bitcoin in their El Salvador locations. But then also the government, so the government's idea to kind of get people on board with this was to give everyone $30 worth of Bitcoins.
Mm-hmm. And that's what dropped the price.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm no expert on Bitcoin, but I know how value of things work. If you give something away for free, its value drops because people now have it for free.
Mm-hmm. This was a problem that we had during the first .com bubble of the late 90s. And it seemed great on paper, man. Like, doesn't matter what you purchase online, Mike Fish. Shipping is free, okay? By the way, shipping is based on volume and weight. And the more you buy, the heavier it gets. And the heavier it gets, the more expensive it is. But you know what? We're going to take care of that for you. And sometimes shipping is actually more expensive than the product you're buying. It happens depending on where you're getting it from. And that's one of the reasons why, one of many reasons, but one of the reasons why we had the first .com bubble burst. There's just companies were just taking on way more debt than they could incur. And El Salvador just gave money away yesterday. Bad plan.
Bad plan. So yeah, so they thought this was going to save everyone. Like I say, it fell almost 20% at one point. But then one of they were interviewing the guy, again, BBC. I got all my stories from BBC this week. Very lazy. But so Mr. Wright, who is, if I'm getting this correct, which I'm not, because apparently it doesn't say who the fuck this guy is. Okay, no, he's an opposition politician. Oh, he's an opposition politician. Of course, he's going to talk shit about this. But Mr. Wright said that Bitcoin was not an apt national currency. I could have told you that. The Bitcoin law has approved in Parliament and was hardly any debate. It took only about 5 hours to go through. We're not cryptocurrency or Bitcoin haters, but we don't believe that it should be compulsory that businesses should be obligated to accept Bitcoin payment. No, because it's fake. Doesn't exist.
Not real money.
It's not real money. It's like saying, hey, we're going to, I mean, even though it is technically real money, I know before anyone starts going, oh, it is real money. I know what you mean, but it's basically like a country going, do you know what will help? We're now going to accept monopoly money as currency. Everyone's got monopoly at home. There you go. That's going to help our economy.
At least $5,000 right there.
But again, my full circle point is not enough people know what the hell Bitcoin is. It's too, what's the word? It's too
volatile was a good adjective earlier. Yeah, unstable.
You can't rely on your national economy for that. What are these people? But then one of the, where is it? So a shopkeeper in El Salvador, Mr. Hernandez, he said he's not put off by the volatility. Jesus Christ, I'm struggling today. I see this as a risk. Yes, but like everything in life, there's a risk. When we own a shop, sometimes we buy a product and we don't sell it. You're oversimplifying the national fucking economy there, pal. When others see a crisis, though, I see an opportunity. No, this isn't the same as, oh, you know, I bought some stuff at the thing, and then I put it on sale and no one bought it. Well, you win some, you lose some. This is the national economy. You are changing your national currency, basically. It's not a, no, let's give it a go, see if it works. If it don't, no harm, no foul, right? No, this is big. That was stupid. Am I wrong?
No, you're correct.
El Salvador. What are you doing to yourself?
I mean, I'm sure they still have their original currency, but it's giving away $30 is not a great idea, and just you should have dull it out over time. Integrate it on a day-to-day process, but don't just mandate that the entire country needs to get this digital wallet today.
So I'm assuming the reason they did that was because their economy is not in a fantastic shape. I'm going to assume.
No, it's not any better today either.
And again, I'm not going to give advice to world leaders because who am I? I'm 36 and I haven't even won a tennis tournament yet. But if you're trying to resurrect your national economy because your national economy is failing and you're in debt, don't give away more money. I don't know. Maybe that's just my theory, my crazy theory. I'm sure someone out there is going, "Oh, Mike, you don't know anything."
Makes sense to me.
What they should have done instead of
I'm a bag of
Bitcoin.
rocks, but that makes sense to me.
Instead of Bitcoin, they should have used Dogecoin.
They could still use. They might go to Dogecoin tomorrow.
They're the only two currencies, cryptocurrencies. I still don't know where they mine it from. Where? What are they mining? Who put it there in the first place?
The deep web on a dot onion.
Oh, I've heard what's in the deep web. I don't want to go mining in that. Might catch something.
It's nasty.
But there you go. For all that and more, look it up yourself. Because I was about to say we'll put all the articles on our website, but we really don't really have a website. So do your own research. We told you why we think. It's like watching mainstream news. This is what we
Finance Talk with Mike and Kush, available on wafflebox.pod.
We've covered sports, we've covered religion, we've covered economy. What a great podcast we are.
We're very well versed, a lot of range here on the Waffle Box.
It's incredible. Now we're going to go off into a further tangent with our weekly Kush's movie review. When Kush reviews a movie. Why are you running? Why are you pretending to run?
I gotta get to the review. Mike Fish, it's time to cut out the cancer. We are talking about James Wan's brand new horror movie, Malignant. It is currently available. It's definitely in theaters, but it's also available if you have an HBO Max subscription. And I gotta tell you, Mike,
I know someone who does. That'll do. I can log in with them.
There you go. It's available now for the next till October 11th, I believe, is how long you'll be able to have access to it. And it is an hour and 51 minutes long. And it's
what?
First hour and 21 minutes. It's long, bro. It's a slog.
I was gonna say, as way movies are now, I do love a good movie that's less than 2 hours.
It's definitely less than 2 hours, but you feel that less than 2 hours. You're just like. But by the time we get to that third act, that final half hour, dude, it goes. The hinges get kicked off the door frame, and all hell breaks loose, and it is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. It's so bad, it's good. I hope the boys at Riff Tracks do something with it. I can't wait to see countless YouTube videos about it. I wish I could play a specific scene for you right now, but we just can't do it. We're going to get demonetized. So you just have to take my word for it.
Describe it.
What's it about, you asked? Well, let me tell you. So we start off the film. It's sometime in the mid-90s. We're in Seattle, Washington. We're at a hospital facility that handles very special cases, Mike Fish.
Very special.
We start off with a standard definition box frame, and it's a doctor just giving some very dry, information, just like the patient is not responding to anything that we've, tried to get. We've tried to do every humane thing we can to separate the two entities from each other, and nothing seems to be working here. And all of a sudden, shit starts going crazy. And someone's like, "Doctor, you got to come right now." And this doctor runs down a hallway. And sure enough, before she can even get there, a full-grown Hulk-sized man gets kicked through the metal door and slams into a wall. And they're like, "Oh my God, she's out of control." And another guy goes in there, and you hear squishes and snaps and breakages, and one more person goes there. They try to just close the door, and someone actually has like a dart gun rifle. Okay, they're doing this bullshit. We're like, I'm ready. I got that big pink dart in there. We're gonna put this bitch down. And before he can even get the barrel of the rifle in there, he is pulled in there, and his arm is ripped right out of his socket. Mike, they close the door, and finally, the doctor opens the door and grabs the rifle to find everybody dead. And something happens, but sure enough, in a desperation move, she pops like 4 or 5 shots into this shadowed entity that we don't get to see. And then she announced, it's time to cut out the cancer. And they take this person behind a shower curtain, and you see something screeching and screaming, and it's in pain. And then we just get credits. I know that was a long explanation, but
I thought that was the opening scene.
That's just the opening scene, player.
Oh, gee, it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
So did they cut out the cancer?
Well, we go a few years later, and we meet a young woman in her 20s.
Does it go 16:9 now, widescreen?
Yes, we get into present day 4K resolution widescreen.
You know what? I hate that. Like, I appreciate what they're trying to do with doing that, but what do they think they're clever of? Like, well, you're watching an old movie. Oh, psych!
Once the doctor has been interrupted in her lecture, it does go to 4K pan and scan. Like they don't stick with that resolution the entire time, buddy. It's just for that one scene, and then she runs, and we're handling 4K resolution again.
I'm not needing. I don't need you to put shitty resolution on my TV for me to get into the moment. Like, whatever. That's the same. Because a couple of movies
using the
do that, and
VHS camera, Mike. She's giving her video blog. It's all right. Whatever. It's all right.
Anyway, so what happens to this cancer? What does it do?
Well, again, we meet a woman. She is pregnant for what is the 3rd time. She has unfortunately had 2 miscarriages. Very sad.
Sorry to hear
but
that.
She's got a deadbeat boyfriend who isn't working. I think she's a nurse, but it's hard to tell. He's a drunk, and a violent drunk at that. And during an episode of domestic abuse, which apparently is a regular thing around the house, all of a sudden something is awakened in the house, and this man is violently murdered. Cops come by, and they're like, there's no sign of forced entry. And one cop suspects, like, hey man, there's no sign of forced entry. This woman has been beaten multiple times. She's got 2 miscarriages because of this dumb over here. Okay, like this, it's obvious that this woman murdered this man, but there's just not enough evidence. So we move down a couple more months, and she's trying to get on with her life. The baby is now dead. This is now her 3rd miscarriage.
Jesus,
so sad. And she's a little traumatized, as one might be after 2 miscarriages or even 1. And all of a sudden starts seeing visions. And she's seeing visions of people being murdered horribly by a creature. She gets the cops involved, and they're like, the fuck are you talking about, you crazy bitch?
What do you want us to do about it?
What do you like? So the murder happened, or the murder hasn't happened yet? And they go to an address, and it's like, wow, that's very weird. This murder scene that was perfectly described actually happened. Okay. Long story short, turns out that cancer that was cut out at the beginning of the film was actually a parasitic twin. Do you know what that is, Michael? By the way, spoilers, everybody. Spoilers.
So was this like a conjoined twin or something like that? Or
something like that. Yeah. But it's crazier than that, because it's still relying on all the same organs. Like it would have been twins, but they just the weaker one just got absorbed into the dominant one. And sure enough, this parasitic twin, its face is right behind this woman's skull, and it has a spinal column, and it had arms and all that crazy.
What, separate arms? So it had that person had
4 arms. This woman had 4 arms and
4 legs.
No, negative. But guess what? So here's what they did. They once it was time to cut out the cancer, they didn't cut it all out. They were able to remove the rib cage.
They just cut the legs off.
Move the extra arms, They tried to cut off as much of the extra face as they could, and then they just pushed the rest back into her skull and sealed it up. And then they just tried to convince her, like, "Oh no, those voices you're hearing, you're just making those up. Don't worry. It's you're really not hearing voices."
Wait.
Mike Fish, I recognize you have a question.
Okay. So the woman who's been having all these miscarriages is the one that's hosting the other twin.
Yes, that is true.
So,
and
at no point
it's just alleged that, hey, remember all those miscarriages you had? This thing was feeding off of it to get stronger.
But you said it had 4 arms.
She had 4 arms and they cut them off.
Oh, I was going to say, at no point did she wonder what these other 2 arms are doing?
No, Mike. They removed the rib cage. They removed the arms. I said that.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. You have to go back on the tape. Jerry, go back on the tape. Play it back.
You said she removed the legs, but she had 4 arms.
There's no legs.
Whatever.
It's only the one woman's legs. It never got that developed.
Did she have 2 breasts on her back?
Negative.
Oh.
Just a rib. Just an extra little spinal column.
Understood. Carry on.
Make this weird, dude.
I'm going to check.
Anyways, this thing fed off some miscarriages.
Did she have an extra sensitive butthole?
They don't get into that. But much like
the joke is that's where the other one's vagina would be.
Well, buttholes are back. Hashtag buttholes are back.
Buttholes are back. Buttholes are back.
I'm just gonna hang on that. Buttholes is back. Anyways, at some point, again, murders are being taken place. This woman is like describing in perfect detail. She is just making herself a bigger suspect, Mike Fish. And at one point, a woman who does a tour group of the Seattle Underground. It's a long story and like a historical thing, but there's a tour you can take and check out subterranean Seattle. Anyways, a tour guide goes missing, and during an interview with the police, they're like, "Yo, I mean, you've been taking us to all these places where these murders you've been describing in perfect detail have happened, and we just don't know what to make of it. And well, we don't want to make you a suspect, but you keep making yourself look like a suspect." And then this woman who's been missing for a week breaks herself free, and the way she was being captured, she ends up just falling through the floor through 2 stories and ends up just in the living room in between the cops and this woman and her sister, and I think one more person is there or whatever. But now they're like, "Oh shit, this crazy bitch has been kidnapping people," and so they arrest her. Stan Lee's Marvel Comics, almost all of his superheroes and his supervillains, their powers have manifested from a very psychological or physical trauma that has happened. And this one is no different, Mike Fish. This woman is getting rowed by a couple of the chicks inside the can with her. And I'm like, I like you. You're going to be my new best friend, and you're going to give me things I want. And they start beating her down, and they start kicking her and just mudhole stomping her. And that's when the creature wakes up, Mike. And sure enough, his face pops out of the back of her head. And remember, she's had her spinal column removed. She had her 2 extra arms, but she's in control of the body. So
how does that work?
Well, it's a lot of running backwards at you, Mike. and because I'm using someone else's body, I gotta stab you like this now. All right, like, but my face is here, but meanwhile, I'm just in like some sort of dormant state, like Quato from Total Recall. But this bitch all of a sudden becomes like a master ninja parkour jujitsu expert with the strength of 3 men, because she murders everybody in the tank with her in the jail, and then she breaks out of the cell by killing a guard and getting the key.
So your right would be my left. Okay, wait, this one. Here we go.
It's a very weird effect because it's clearly just a man, like this, but they put a mask on the back of his head for those blurry shots, and they just have him running backwards. Okay.
So is this supposed to be a horror movie?
It's supposed to be a horror movie. James Wan, the man responsible for Saw, and he has also done Insidious as well as the Conjuring series, but he's also done 2018's Aquaman, Furious 7. Like he's got range, but this is supposed to be a horror movie, and
I would
these
be
scenes I'm telling
laughing
you
my
about,
ass
like
off.
you're laughing, and you should be laughing because I was laughing, and I was ready to give up on this. And then this bitch just murders everybody in the cell violently, horribly. And then she gets the keys from the guard after murdering him, and then she murders an entire Seattle police department.
Not
Everybody,
one person.
people are shooting guns, and she's just stabbing, just stab. She's flying like. Again, this is a stuntman at one point is doing this with a mask on. So there are times where you see that they just reverse the mask, so there's a human face on the back of this person's head, and she's just doing this. But then they've reversed the shot somehow in like After Effects or whatever they do, whatever they work with there in Hollywood. All right, and it looks weird, man. The whole thing looks weird, and it is hilarious. And at some point, this bitch who was just violently murdered an entire police department just decides to grab a chair and just throw it at two more cops. Just like, I mean, you could have just murdered them too. But for whatever reason, you just acted like a child with a tantrum and just
you have to do
threw a fucking chair at somebody. It hits them, by the way, and they go down. He was like,
So the other twin was a man.
Hmm?
The twin was a man.
No, the twin's name is Gabriel, and it's definitely like a threatening, demonic, masculine, dominant voice. But it could be a girl.
Gabriel.
I don't know. Just Gabriel. Whatever. Eventually,
star
the
of the
woman
hell of
whose
Gabriel's
body
lust.
is. Yeah, probably not.
No.
But the woman whose body is being used during this entire melee, she eventually overpowers the demon, and she locks it up in a prison inside her mind. Again, we're going into spoilers here. The prison in her mind, Mike. She much like something Professor Xavier would do in the X-Men, locked her up in a prison inside her mind, which is just leaving things open for a sequel.
So she's like basically like Freddy Krueger now.
Maybe. Most likely. I think they would definitely like this to be a franchise. It's James Wan. He makes, again, Saw, Insidious, The Conjuring, all big franchises he's been behind. So I'm sure they would like to make this a fourth one. Dude, this movie is bad. Like that last half hour is amazing. But
I only want to watch it because I want to see the backwards running person. I think that'd be funny.
Yeah. Well, skip forward to the hour 20-minute mark.
I think I might do that later tonight. I just might stick it on, just fast forward to the last 30 minutes.
It's
just for shits and
bad.
giggles.
Again, I hope the guys from Riff Tracks, Mystery Science Theater 3000 see this movie and they're like, this has to be our next project. We have to do this.
Oh, yeah, it sounds like the perfect movie for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
I don't know why this last half hour is just so hilarious to me.
It sounds like
you'll just have to see it.
It sounds like they're tempted maybe to do something similar. Is it From Dawn Till Dusk, where it was like an interesting story starring George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino, and then all of a sudden they just got bored and was like, you know what, let's make the last 20-30 minutes batshit crazy. And it just goes
no, because there's definitely two movies going on in that, but you always know that this is leading to a bar full of vampires. In fact, as it goes on, you're like, why aren't we in the bar with vampires? Why aren't we at the Teddy Twister? But this movie, the entire time, is like, this is supposed to be the scariest thing from James Wan. This is the newest thing he's made and the scariest thing he will ever produce. Still the next scariest thing. But you have to see Malignant. And I don't necessarily know that you do need to see Malignant, but the last half hour is amazing. I can only recommend that. The rest of the movie is just not good, and it's long and it's dry and the characters suck. And I don't mean to be mean, but there it is. It's 2 out of 5, and I'm being very generous with that too because I thought it was so funny.
2 out of 5 for comedy effect.
Yeah. And then I feel that stuntman went through a lot of work.
It sounds horrific.
Yeah,
like having to run backwards. I don't know. But there you go. 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5.
So don't check it out. If you are going to check it out on HBO Max, just save yourself fast forward to the last 30 minutes, and then watch yourself, a nice 30-minute comedy movie.
Yeah, I think you're supposed to be shocked, like there was a parasitic twin, but that's you should know that going into it, like Malignant. I mean, it's a malignant tumor. It's time to cut out the cancer.
Bless. Okay, well, I guess that wraps up. I need to get my head around that. In a one way was. So over the next 7 days, what have we got coming up on the Postnet family?
Well, this Friday we got Drew Angelman coming back, and we're going to be talking about the final quarter of the year, Mike, and what movies you might want to check out coming out October, November, December, especially. Lots of great titles. We're going to try and cover as many as we can, and then on top of that, Drew Angelman is coming in to defend his Robin Seto cameo party championship for a third time. I don't know how that's going to go, but I'm getting ready for that right after this recording.
I believe I'm 1 and 2 on that.
Are you 1 and 2?
No, 2. Wait. Well,
I've lost 1 and 1. You lost 1.
I lost 1. Oh, and then the other time I was on.
Yeah, you've got 2 different stats. You were part of a team at one point.
Yeah, second time I was on Microdose, we didn't play the cameo party because Robin wasn't there. And then the next time it was a tag team.
Yeah, Claret Big Blue has a victory over me.
Yeah, so singles 0-1, tag team 1-0. So there you go.
We'll have to have you back on
that out. If you want to go there, all at what's the Twitter handle for Postnet? Is there an
the Bosnet.family/microdose?
No, the Twitter handle. It's all about social media. What's the kids?
At Bosnet Brand, at Kush_Hayes,
at Mr. Mike Fish, at Wafflebox Pod. So as always, if you are watching this and you think these guys are fucking ugly, I'd much rather listen to this. You can do so on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and all that good stuff, even on Audible, which is where you get the books. But instead of reading a good book, you just listen to us talk bollocks. But if you are listening to us and you're like, these guys sound very handsome, I wonder if that's true.
Hey, I look pretty handsome too.
Yeah, you can go to our YouTube channel and watch the show, which is pretty cool. All those links for how you can watch and listen to this show at waffleboxpod.com. But until next week, don't forget to take care of yourselves and each other.